ang Kilimanjaro Safaris. Para sa seguridad.
Asante Sana. We're in Harambe, we say Twende. That means let's go. Jambo, everyone. My name is Bailey. I will be your safari guide as we take our journey through the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. Now, while we're out here, friends, please make sure everyone remains fully seated and keep your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the truck at all times. Little ones are more than welcome to sit on a lap so they can see better. I actually recommend doing so. But go ahead and start that now if you're thinking about it. Once we get on the reserve, we cannot change seats anymore. We cannot pass children around, stand them on laps, lift them in the air, anything like that. Everyone must stay fully seated in one place the whole time. Also, friends, for the safety of the animals and the comfort of those around you, let's just make sure that we're not making noises at the animals or calling out to them in any way, because this is their home and we are just visiting, so we want to be respectful. But we are going to be getting going here. We're going to start our journey off today in the Little Aturi Forest. This is usually where animals are very good at camouflage. They tend to use their natural forms of camouflage over here to blend in with vegetation, because that's how they survive in the wild usually. So sometimes animals hide on us over here, but let's see what we can find. On the right side, if you look way across to the corner, yeah, someone said it, Theo Copy. That's a dark animal with zebra-looking legs. Now, they do kind of look like they could be related to zebras by their striped legs, but they're actually related to the giraffe. They have a very similar skull structure and long tongue, just like a giraffe. That's how they reach into trees for food. Then also on the right side, this tan antelope is the greater kudu. Now, this is a female greater kudu, since she does not have horns. She'll stand at about 55 inches tall and can jump about 6 feet high. I actually see another greater kudu coming up that's going to be pretty close on our right side, still just right off the edge of the road. We're going to go super slow here, just so we don't startle her, because they are very skittish animals. Most animals here in the forest are. They're just very shy, reclusive, so they can be skittish. A nice close pretty view of her. Then we will see up ahead on the left, looks like we're going to get to a really nice view of a black rhino. There's actually one on top of that first one on the left, but another one slightly easier to see coming up on the left side too. The black rhino will weigh about 3,000 pounds full grown, and they have a very pointed upper lip. It points down quite a bit if you're able to see it. That's how we can tell it is a black rhino. The two horns that they have on their heads are made of keratin. It's the same material as our fingernails and hair. So if we found the rhino rubbing its horn on a tree trunk or something hard like that, it's because they kind of file it down just like we would do with our fingernails. They kind of make it the shape they like. I do see at least one other kind of animal coming up just a little further ahead, working our way towards that. Actually, I see a couple different kinds of animals coming up. They'll both be on our left side as we pass this really big tree. You'll see the orange animals with horns as the bongo. Maybe just the one. The bongo is considered the ghosts of the forest. They can be really hard to find, so I'm glad we found one. Both male and female bongos have the heavy-duty horns to help not get tangled as they run through underbrush. Then the large black and white bird further back by bushes, that is the saddle-billed stork. They get their name from the yellow saddle shades marking on their beaks. They can stand at about 5 feet tall, and you can tell apart males and females by their eye colors, which I think is really cool. Males will have brown eyes and females have yellow eyes. Now this brings us right into the next area of the reserve already. We're heading into the Safi River, where usually we can find animals either in or around the water. Let's see what's over here. Actually, do you see at the bottom of this hill, way at the end on the right side, you'll see the large whitish grayish birds. Those are pink-backed pelicans. They get their name from the pink color that comes up on their backs during mating season. And their wingspans will get up to almost 9 feet wide, which is almost the width of the canopy above your heads on the truck. Also on the left side, a group of Nile hippos in the water. A group of hippos like this is called a bloat. That is a bloat. They are going to be found in the water like this most of the time. They are nocturnal, so they do rest during the daytime, so this is what we expect to see. But they do spend lots of time in the water to make sure that their skin doesn't get sunburned for sure, but also because they can just hold their breath up to 8 minutes at a time underwater. Now what's really cool about that is that they can even sleep fully submerged under the water. Their nose down there and everything, and half their brain is still going to be functioning as they sleep. So while they're sleeping, they don't have to wake up and think about getting a breath of air every 8 minutes. Instead, their bodies will naturally rise for them to grab that breath of air in their sleep, just like how we don't have to think about breathing as we sleep. Then next on our left side, I see a Nile crocodile. There's actually a couple of them down there.
In the water.
They'll get up to about 16 feet long. They can weigh about 500 pounds. And in a single meal, they can eat up to half their body weight if they choose.
There's another one right there.
Savannah. As we head into the Savannah, we'll be passing by a really big tree on the right, very commonly found in the Savannah. This is a baobab tree. It's also called the upside down tree because the top kind of looks like roots, and it'll be leafless like that for about 9 months out of the year. But in the Savannah, hopefully we can find lots of different animals. I definitely already see a giraffe up ahead, so we're going to try to get a really good view of it. We also might find zebras or elephants or lions. Lots of cool animals that are out here. I just cannot promise we're going to find all these animals today, of course. They do have very natural migration patterns, eating habits, sleeping habits, but we will do our best to find as many animals as possible. So have cameras ready just in case, guys. I cannot stop for every single animal out here, but they certainly will not be stopping for me either. On the right side, we are going to see those giraffes and see the gray animals on the right. Those are the wildebeest. Those wildebeest actually learn how to run within about 15 minutes of being born, so they're great runners. That's a pretty small herd of wildebeest, actually, kind of a teeny tiny herd. So out in the wild, wildebeest will travel in groups of about 1.5 million in total, all in a single migrating herd together. It's such a large migration group that if they're running around enough and kicking up enough dust, their group is able to be seen from space. Now, it looks like there are lots of giraffes, and it looks like we should get views of them for a good amount of time here, too. Since it is a group of giraffes, that is called a tower. And that tower does make sense. They are really tall, but it is fitting for them. They're the tallest animals in the world. They can get up to about 20 feet tall, but they're born already at about 6 feet tall. Now, way on the left side, trying to find a good view for you guys. You might find my favorite animal on the reserve, the African wild dog. I'm going to pull up past some of these really big rocks, see if we can see a little bit better. Kind of look towards the biggest tree on the left. There's one up there. Yeah, get a snack. The African wild dogs are also called the painted dogs because it looks like on their coats they've been finger painted. They each have their own unique coat, which is how they tell each other apart. And it is really cute, isn't it? They are super cuddly looking, but they're not, unfortunately. I really wish they were. They're actually the most successful hunters in Africa. They'll catch about 90% of their prey. Lions will only catch about 30% for comparison. Now also on the left side, these dark brown antelopes are the sable antelopes. They're actually the symbol for the Harambe Wildlife Reserve, so they're very special to us here. The reason they were chosen as the symbol for the reserve is because antelopes usually, when danger or a predator approaches, they're going to run and hide from that danger, from that predator. But the sable antelope is the exact opposite. They're going to stand their ground and defend themselves against predators. Their horns that curve back will just intimidate potential predators too, to not want to jump on their backs, so that can help keep them safe. We're going to get a nice view of a couple giraffes on our left side here. There's going to be more views of the ones that are on the right too. You can see most of the giraffes are eating right now, which is common. Giraffes actually eat for about 20 hours a day. And then they're only sleeping for about 30 minutes a day.
That's your spirit animal.
I know, my spirit animal too, honestly.
She just said it was her spirit animal.
No, usually when they sleep though, they are going to be standing up as they sleep. They're pretty much always standing. They typically do not like to sit down, mainly because if they were in the wild and they sat down and had to get up quickly for any reason, they just wouldn't be able to get up very quickly because of how long their legs are. They know it takes some time to get up, so they choose not to sit down, but they will sit down more often in a reserve like this. They know that they're safe and protected here. Really pretty view, this one on the right. Now look at the spots on the coat. Since we're really close, you can see how the spots around the edges of them, they're really jagged around the edges. That shows us these are all Maasai giraffes in the tower, in the group. Also on the right, these animals with really big horns are the Ankole cattle. There's going to be one a little bit closer, a little further here. The Ankole cattle's horns are going to seem really heavy on their head because of how big they are. But those horns are actually really light for them. They have more of a honeycomb-like structure on the inside of them, so they're almost hollow. Inside those horns, inside the structure in there, they actually have blood vessels that run through their horns. So those big horns are going to just be used to regulate their body temperatures. We'll be pretty close to this last one on the right. After the Ankole cattle, behind the giraffe, you can see some really teeny tiny antelopes on the right on top of the hill. Those little guys are springboks. Those little springboks are actually full grown at that small size. They're about 3 feet tall. They get their name because as they show emotion, they'll spring or leap about 6 feet high repeatedly. They can also spring forward about 13 feet forward. But not only are they really good jumpers, they're also really good runners. They'll run about 55 miles an hour. So being so well known for speed and agility, the springbok is very commonly known to be the mascot for sports teams in South Africa. Now usually the farther we get up ahead here, we are starting to get into elephant country. So let's see if we can find any African elephants. The sun is not too intense and it's been pretty cool the last couple days, which is great for pretty much all the animals on the reserve, but especially elephants. They have very sensitive skin. So when the sun is too intense, they're gonna hide in the shade more often, and I can't blame them, we would too. Oh, I do see a really good view of an elephant on the right up here. Now, not too much right now, but a little bit of dust on that guy's back, just a teeny bit. Elephants will actually use their trunks to throw dirt, mud, sand, all of that on their backs to use as a natural form of sunscreen to protect their very sensitive skin in the sun. Now also, if they don't have a lot of shade nearby when that sun is too intense for them, not only are they going to put on their sunscreen, but they can also flap their ears to cool down. Oh, where'd you see something? Back on the left. Oh, that's a mandrill way behind her left shoulder behind the big rocks. The mandrill is actually the same kind of animal as Rafiki from The Lion King, the mandrill. They have those bright red and blue colors on their faces to get brighter as they get more excited. And they have little pockets in their mouths, so food for later. Now we did see a little peek of that mandrill. We got a really good view of the elephant though. I do want to try to find some more elephants though. They're very social animals and we're going to get deeper into elephant country, so let's see if we can find some more. Now for now though, this is already about the halfway point of our safari. But that just means that we've seen a lot of cool animals so far and we still have a lot to find. There are many easy ways we can help out animals like these ones to help keep their environment safe for them. Something I try to do to help animals is use reusable items when I can. It helps to reduce the use of plastic and paper a little bit, and that can keep environments of animals very safe, clean, and healthy for them. That'll keep them around for longer, which means that we get to see them for longer. So if we want to see these animals a long time, we should try to help them out a little. This earth is just as much of our home as it is theirs. But now as we are heading deeper into elephant country, we're going to pass through these red clay pits. I do see elephant footprints already, and even on the right, see those tusk marks in the clay. That's because elephants like to eat red clay. It serves as a mineral for them. It's just like how we might take multivitamins for our minerals. Now trying to move a little bit quicker here, I do see another elephant, so I want to try to get a good view. But the tusks that these elephants have, they are very strong. They're made of ivory. So sadly, elephants tend to be poached for their tusks. I'm actually going to go a smidge further. Now, there were actually farmers in Africa at one point that were poaching elephants, but it was just because elephants were breaking down their fences and destroying their crops. So we tried to help both sides of that here at Disney's Animal Kingdom. We used these animal-safe collars on the elephants on the reserve here at the time to help detect activity. And we found that elephants like to stay away from bees. So we helped build beehive fences with those farmers. It kept the elephants away from the fences and crops, so the elephants stayed safe. The farmers were a lot happier with that, and the farmers could benefit off the honey from those bees, all part of the Elephants and Bees project. So a few elephants on our left. You can also see on the right those little springboks we were talking about. They're really good jumpers and runners. A little closer view now. Lots of nice views out here this morning. Let's see what else is going on. We're going to move a bit. There is an elephant on the left, kind of behind these trees. A little hard to see. You might get a little peek behind your left shoulder as we pass that fallen tree. Little itty bitty peek. Now up ahead here, we're going to loop around on our left a group of flamingos. A group of flamingos like this is called a flamboyant. And we know that they are greater flamingos because they are the largest and the lightest colored pink flamingos. Their pink color is going to come from beta carotene in their diet, which is found in things like brine shrimp and other little creatures they eat. If you see any of the flamingos looking more white or gray in color, maybe that means they're just really young still. They're going to hatch super gray in color, then it can take up to 2 years for their full pink color to develop. But now let's see what else we can find as we're getting deeper into the savannah. We are still in the savannah, so we still have time to hopefully find some other really cool animals. Oh, and I do see really cool views coming up here. We're gonna see some more rhinos, at least one. Now back in the forest, in the very beginning of the reserve, we did see a rhino. It was the black rhino back in the forest. This is gonna be the white rhino on our left. They are a bit different, they are larger. So these guys will be about 5,000 pounds, while the black rhino is about 3,000 pounds. They also have a different mouth shape. I mentioned the black rhino had a pointed upper lip. The white rhino will actually get its name from the Afrikaans word "wyd," and it means wide, not white like it sounds. It refers to the wide mouth shape they have compared to the black rhino's pointed upper lip from before. That is going to be helpful for them for different environments. The black rhino lives in a forest where they're going to browse off of trees and branches. That pointed upper lip is prehensile. That means it's finger-like. It has the ability to grip and grab, so they can grab branches and strip the leaves off. But the white rhino is a grazer, so they're going to be grazing, eating the grass, so their wide mouth helps them get closer to the ground for that. Now on the right, if you can see through the trees on top of the hill, there is a brown antelope, might have been a couple, is the water buck. Might be able to see better as we kind of turn here. The water buck is actually really fun. They use water to their advantage in a really fun way. They will run into water if a predator chases them, hoping the predator is not going to chase them into the water, so they use water as a little force field.
I saw another animal.
Oh, and I see really fun views also on the left up here. I see a couple cheetahs walking around. They are wide awake. It might be a little surprising to see a big cat awake right now, but cheetahs are one of the only big cats in the animal kingdom that hunt and are most active during daytime compared to nighttime like most others. They are the fastest land animals in the world. They will go from 0 to 60 miles an hour in about 3 seconds. Although very fast, they just cannot keep their top speed for very long. They don't have the best endurance, but they will use their long bushy tails as they run really fast to stay centered and balanced. Now another awesome view of another big cat coming up. We're pulling up towards these big rocks called a kopie formation, and you'll see a female lion on the left on the kopie in front of the flat rock. Now this one, seeing this big cat, this lion awake, this is more exciting because they are usually resting for about 16 to 20 hours a day. So usually they are going to be much sleepier looking at least. But they are going to be conserving their energy, resting that much during the day for all of their hunting. They are most active at nighttime for their hunting and everything. It's usually going to be the female lions that will hunt for the pride. The male lions will stay back to protect the rest of the pride. We'll see if there's any other lions on the other side of the kopie too, but I do see more white rhinos on the right over here. Oh, there's a baby rhino. You see the horns are still growing in a bit. Really cute. They will still have the horns made of keratin on their heads just like the black rhino did. And I think I do see another lion coming up, another female on the left up ahead here. This one looks like it was watching over the other female. You can see her ears are back. She's watching.
Oh, yeah, I see it, yeah.
See her there? They'll play with each other up there quite a bit, so it's always fun to see what they're going to be up to. Especially when they are awake, it's always exciting. But they're sisters, so that's why. Alrighty, let's loop around. We should get another view of the other white rhinos that were over here. A group of rhinos is going to be called a crash, which seems kind of funny. A crash, it's fitting for them because they can charge at about 35 miles an hour. But they don't have the best vision. They can't see very well. They can only see about 5 or 10 feet in front of them and otherwise very blurry. And even that they can see could be pretty blurry for them. So sometimes they are charging and don't really see what they're going to be charging towards, so they might crash into things. Of these two rhinos facing us, the one on the left of the two is also a little younger. Not baby, but still a little younger. Nigerian dwarf goats. We're going to see them on our left as we loop a bit. They're on top of the house. These cute little guys can be kept around as pets, but they're mostly kept around because of the goat milk they produce. The farmer will provide these goats with a place to live and food and water. In return, the goats will give their goat milk to the farmer. Now, the goat milk can be sold in local villages or can be turned into things like cheese and butter to also be sold. So the villagers and the farmer can gain some resources rather than relying on local wildlife for resources instead. But now, unfortunately, guys, this is actually bringing us already to the end of our journey today. So I would like to say Asante Sana, which means thank you. So Asante Sana for joining me today, guys. I hope you did enjoy everything you got to see out there with me today. If you guys would like to see these animals again, maybe see them doing something different, maybe just a different animal, definitely come back for another safari later. No two safaris are ever the same. These are wild animals. They do pretty much whatever they want, whenever they want. So it is really cool to see what else they're up to at different times of the day. If you guys want to help out any of the animals that you saw with me or others out there, I mentioned before we could try to use some reusable items, or simply recycling can do a lot more than we realize. Conserving our paper use, using it as responsibly as possible can help many animals out there. A lot rely on vegetation for their food or their homes. So that can help animals to a great extent. If you would like to learn more about the Disney Conservation Fund, it is a non-profit organization that meets donations made to it dollar for dollar, which is really cool. You can learn more or donate if you would like to at any merchandise location here in the park. Now, in just a few moments, friends, we will be making our departure. So go ahead and make sure you still have all of your belongings. Don't leave anything behind here in Africa with me. That would make for a long journey back later for you guys. Now, as we do make our departure in Harambe, guys, we don't like to say goodbye. That's a bit too final sounding to us here. Instead, what we say is Kwaherini, which means to go well. So, Kwaherini, friends, go well, go wild out there. Enjoy the rest of your journey in Disney's Animal Kingdom. Again, my name is Bailey, and Wilderness Explorers, you've been riding Simba 1 with me today. On the right, watch your hands on your seat and legs. Doors will open for you. Be sure to watch your sit down, guys. Double check your rows and have a great rest of your day out there.